So let me get this first business out of the way. So this class is titled Dating Beyond the Screen, Real World Connections in a Digital Age. So social isolation has become a mental health concern, particularly for those experiencing social anxiety. Many people in the autism spectrum struggle to navigate dating advice that doesn't address their unique needs. Developing emotional intelligence through self-improvement creates the motivation needed to overcome anxiety. This dating logic offers an alternative to the male and female dating strategy commonly found online. The right dating strategy combines personal growth with effective techniques that transform isolation into meaningful connection. So, tell you a little bit about the organization that I run that we put this all on for, International Friend Connection. So, we're a mission driven global network that creates welcoming spaces for shy, socially anxious, and neurodivergent adults to make friends in real life. I founded it in 2014, one single group. Now we got 51 local and virtual chapters all over the world. We've had 41,000 members stay in the network over 11 years, had 100 volunteers. We've did almost 4,500 free events. And like I said, we calculated that we've given back $5 million to the community. It was actually, they calculated 6.2, but for every dollar spent, we send $500 back to the community. And I pretty much funded this all myself, as well as we got, so it probably cost me about 10 grand. Of that, about 3 grand was in donations. Really great for our donors. They helped us get through COVID lockdown to pay all our bills. You find more at internationalfriendconnection.com. Let me tell you what's going on this week. Oh yeah, I'll tell you about that. So yeah, I partner, so I'm chief of global. Well, I'll tell you about that in a minute, and we'll get into the communities for neurodivergent and socially anxious people. Let me tell you what we got going on. Every Monday, I do a live class here, 7. We switched to 7. 8:30, 8:38 was a bit late for me. So Monday, Tuesday, board games with my wonderful organizer, Michelle, in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They're at House Rules Lounge. Go and see them. They get a real good turnout. You love to play board games. You're in Grand Rapids. Go and see them. Wednesday, we do our online chat. We'll do that this week. So this is scheduled for next week, 5/4. So we're doing Schuler books this week too. Oh, actually, I got that wrong. We're not doing Schuler books next week, so we're doing it this week. And then in East Michigan, Becky's going to do coffee and tea at Matari Coffee Shop in Canton. Thursday, we got our organizer, Vicky, here, wonderful organizer, amazing personal growth past couple of years. And she's going to be doing an event at Sweetwater's in Ann Arbor. Check out the group to see what Sweetwater she's going to do the event at. And then Friday, y'all come out and see me at Cafe Boba in Grand Rapids, and that's what we got going on for this week. So all of our events are designed for kind of shy, neurodiverse people, engineers, IT professionals, kind of nerdy people. So who am I? Oh, that's me with a picture of my good friend, Bob Berg, author of Go Giver series. So I created a friend magnet framework I put together, combines acceptance commitment therapy, a lot of social skills, and a lot of mindset tools to complete that inner transformation that you need to have the best life possible. I personally led over 2,100 live events, built the International Friend Connection over 11 years. I'm a certified professional coach. I got a certificate in the acceptance commitment therapy model that I use for coaching. I've been recognized by President Biden multiple times, was declared a point of light by President George H.W. Bush's foundation, permanent title I get to use rest of my life. My buddy CEO at Meetup, David Siegel, named me founding brand ambassador 2023. And then I've been featured on the local Fox, ABC, NBC stations, some multiple times. And, I was always the most socially awkward guy in the room. Growing up neurodivergent, growing up, used to call it Asperger's. Now it's just all called autistic. But I just never got people. I could not get people. So what I had to do was I was a software developer, and I said, can I figure this out like I did software development? And then as I started learning all this stuff, I'm like, oh, we can put it into a system just like we did software development, software engineering. So yeah, I kind of like to work with the analytical, shy, neurodivergent people like us. So what's a friend magnet? This is a framework that I teach you over. It's going to be over 5 weeks, and this is the last class in it. But we're restructuring some things. So I told you it teaches ACT tools, acceptance and commitment therapy tools, step-by-step social skills training. And I teach you a lot of exposure therapy practices, and so that you can come into our groups or our virtual groups and practice in a safe environment. And there are a lot of groups for shy people I meet up around the country. So those are always safe safe places too. So again, just disclaimer: this is not therapy or replacement for therapy. We don't treat any form of mental illness. We provide you life skills needed to live the life and have the career that you deserve. And I always welcome you share these classes with your doctors, share these classes with your therapists. And because a lot of therapists don't teach these kind of things, I'd like to have this be a resource for them to give to people. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you, it's about that one note for neurodivergent people. I use some metaphors. So if you don't get a metaphor that I use, it's funny. As a neurodivergent people, I've been able to change my brain a bit and see a lot of gray things that normally didn't make sense to me. So ask me if you need clarification. And so yeah, let's get into it. What's the friend magnet framework? This is a 6 classes, but I'm turning it into 5. Um, First class, I teach you how to overcome all those anxious feelings. And the key is not getting rid of them. It's just allowing them to flow through you and do what you need to do anyways. I teach you all the mindset techniques and all the mental techniques to do that. And then I help you identify your meaning and purpose. That's in addition to class 1. Class 2, I teach you how to talk to people so that they like you and how to make connections with people. And one hint is the less you say, the more people like you. It's kind of crazy like that. And then we're moving mindset to the very last class. This was about the inner work that I did, that I had to do to become that person that people like and that person that really cares about people. Because, I was hurt all my life by people. I had to forgive myself and I had to forgive others. And that's an important part of that work. I teach you about boundaries, how to know what people are healthy for you to be around. And if I'm speaking too fast, put in chat a reminder for me to slow down. I get nervous and that brain starts working quick. So I speak fast, but please feel welcome to put a reminder for me to slow down my speech. And then, so number 5 is going to be put into number 1. And then you're on the last part right now, is finding love without dating apps, because dating apps just suck. And we'll go into that. So what you're going to gain by this talk tonight: best local places to meet people, strategies on how to become a regular, build lasting connections with people. Talk a little bit about some key conversational skills, but that's more class 2. And then what obstacles we have if this stuff is not working. So we're going to start with a little activity. I'm going to give you all 5 minutes to do this. I'll set a timer. Oh no, I just turned off Alexa, so I can't set a timer, but I'll watch the clock. Thanks for that compliment. Thanks for letting me know I'm not talking too fast. I always do. I was at a podcast the other week and I was talking a mile a minute. They had to tell me to slow down. But so here we go. I want you to get your piece of paper, pull out your phone with a little note on it. 2 columns. So first column, I want you to list everything you're interested in, everything you like to do. And let's give that 5 minutes. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Put done in chat when you're done. So let's take 5 minutes to do that. So I'll give you until 7:18. Yeah, I was going to tell you something about, so us autistic people, there was a study done. It's in a book, I think, Unmasking Autism. And there's a Yale group that taught me this, that, when us autistic people meet a neurotypical person, they can immediately tell that we're different within milliseconds. It's something innate in their brains. And so they may, oh yeah, feel free to screenshot anything. Feel free to, and you'll be able to rewind this and watch it too and take the notes. Actually, shoot me a message. I've got all kind of notes and cheat sheets and stuff if you're interested in access. I can give you a link to purchase those. Oh yeah, go ahead. If you want to put stuff in chat that you're interested in too. Yeah, so everything you like, everything you're interested, we'll give a couple more minutes. But back to that study that showed that, even if we make no social mistakes, people can tell we're autistic just by meeting us. So what we have to do is we have to overcome maybe those negative feelings that are generated automatically. And that's why I think a lot of us, first, we can't read people and understand people, and we don't know what to do because we got to be taught social skills step by step because it doesn't come naturally to people like me. And I felt ashamed of that for a long time. That's what held me back most of my life. I wish somebody told me when I was young, like, David Good, shame is a useless emotion. And it's not your fault that you can't understand people, but let's learn it step by step, just like you learn computer programming. And now I see these skills as no different from when I learned computer programming. It's just learning and practice. So we got some examples in chat of things people like to do. A couple more minutes here. I'll just give you 2 more minutes to write that down. What a buddy of mine does when he meets someone, they're one of the smartest dudes I know, like 200 IQ or something. Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a minute, John. But you can give them a thick book, and then they can read it in 30 minutes, answer any question out of the book. But their brain's very sensitive, and so they can't do some of the things I do. So what their strategy is, they always introduce themselves and say, "Hey, I communicate a little bit differently." So if I go on and on, um, please feel welcome to interrupt. And they also say, like, eye contact's very hard for me, so I'm not able to do eye contact. So kind of just close right away. I usually make an emotional connection with someone first, and then I kind of disclose. But I think both methods are valid depending upon your capabilities. The first method may be more valid if your symptoms are a bit more severe or you have more support needs. Cool. It's 16 after. What I want you to do now in the other column of the page, I want you to do some brainstorming. Now, where in your local area can you meet people that have the same interests as you? Where in your local area can you meet people that have the same interests as you? Yeah, John, that's a great tip. Look at someone's nose or their shoulder. Their shoulder. In the class, usually eye contact's good about 50% of the time. So if you can't do eye contact, sometimes good to disclose. But yeah, so for the second part, I'm going to give you till 20 after, another 4 minutes. Brainstorm all the places in your local area that you can think where you can meet those people in person that like the same things as you. And studies showing that similarities a great predictor of attraction. Yeah, that's okay, Metal Mama. We'll go into that in a minute. I'll give you some examples and where you can meet people. Because this day and age, everybody thinks that you meet someone on apps and that you can't meet someone in real life. But yeah, you meet people over shared hobbies. You're more likely to connect with people than just at a bar or a coffee shop or on the street or whatever. We're going to get into that in a minute too. And don't feel bad if you can't fill any of these out. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a minute. I'm going to teach you where to go meet people in your local area. And yeah, like I said, no shame. Don't feel bad if you can't fill any of these out. You're all new learning this stuff. You're not supposed to be experts. I deal with in my class. That's going to probably be moved to. That's going to be mindset's going to be the last class where I talk about guilt versus shame, kind of uselessness of shame. I had a client of mine, and they were stuck home for 12 years because of shame. And then once I taught them that they could let go of that shame, man, they started leaving the house. They even went on an international trip. Yeah, so we got some example in chat. Like to play chess, find a chess club. Um, yeah, dog parks if you got a dog. One more minute here. Yeah, I've not heard of Autism Society Central. Is that something in your city, John? Oh yeah, another person who live in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that can be rough. You live in the middle of nowhere. I grew up in the country. Usually there's like churches, a lot of churches. If you weren't religious, that was kind of hard. But yeah, I'm gonna move on next. So we've got a list of interests, your interests and activities, and then where we can meet people locally. So here's where I recommend you meet people locally and some tips. Um, so organized groups and websites. You got meetup.com, you got Eventbrite. Now Facebook, local Facebook groups have been blowing up with local events, religious communities, classes, um, workshops, seminars, and even volunteering, professional associations. You're an entrepreneur, meet a lot of people at business networking events, cultural groups. Like if you're part of a certain culture, those culture societies. Now, here is the long-term strategy that nobody knows and nobody talks about. Here's what you need to do to meet a lot of people. Is you got to be a regular consistently. If that group meets every week, try to go every week. And you've got to be a regular. It's essentially a 3-month rule that it takes to try a community out to see if you can fit into that community. And I talk about detachment earlier classes. You've got to you can learn to be okay. Well, you're never 100% okay because rejection hurts. Is You've got to be detached. So when you go, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to make a friend the first time that I go, or I'm going to meet someone to date the first time I go to this group. And then you feel bad. You never go again. That's so many people do that with my local groups and give up, especially guys. And especially the biggest mistake guys do is they come to my events and they tend to ask all the women for their numbers. They get shot down. And then they never come back again. And I'll tell you why that is. Oh yeah. So this goes back in. So here is the big secret that no dating coach, no quote unquote expert will tell you is that when you go to a social group, behind the scenes, all the women talk about who the safe guys are, who the creepy guys are. So if you go into a group the first time and you start asking all the women for their numbers, especially if you're real shy, you don't have much practice. Like by now, if you've taken my classes, you've had 6 weeks of practice. So you're doing better, but you still may not be ready. You got to play a long strategic game. And then what happens is behind the scenes, all the women are chatting about who the safe guys are, who the creepy guys are, who to stay away from. And they're watching your behavior. Like if you ask some woman out after you've been in the group for 3 months and she rejects you and you get all mad and go crazy, I mean, the rest of the women, they will never want anything to do with you because they say you're an unstable guy. But so it's that patience. You're only for 3 months. Your only purpose of going to group should be is to make those friends, to be a contributing member of the group. And you've got to respect people's boundaries. You got to be okay. Don't try to be best friends with people too quick. That's a big turnoff. You just want to be a regular member of the group. Consistently participate every week and be interested in the group for other things than meeting women. I mean, women will smell you a mile away if you come into a group and your only intention is to meet women. But if you're there just to be part of a community and meet friends, you'll be amazed at what that does for your mental health. And just be a positive, supportive member of the community. So going a little bit about conversation skills that we get conversation skills. We covered a lot of this in week 2. So when you speak with people, when you finally are okay in going to a group, and I've given you the strategy over the past 6 weeks, we talk about open-ended questions. Some good questions to come to a group. I've got a cheat sheet with a bunch of them. Let me know if you're interested. I got that for sale. But what inspired you to come tonight? Kind of ask people about their week. What's been the highlight of your week? Some active listening techniques. Go into that again. 50% eye contact. Lean in slightly. Use brief acknowledgments. Nod. Keep that phone away during the event. I fall into that trap with my social anxiety. I can get nervous. I whip that phone out, look at that phone to let that anxiety level let that anxiety level get down. I probably should disclose that. That way people don't think the term is phubbing. People won't think I'm phubbing them. They'll just say, hey, it's his anxiety. Um, and then, it's don't ask personal questions, a lot of personal stuff right away, or share too personal stuff right away. Go back to class 2 or conversation class. And like I just said, a lot of this stuff just comes from doing it over and over. Like for me, it's been 15 years. So don't beat yourself up if you're just starting to do this stuff in the past 6 weeks. And go back and watch our other classes. We've got four other classes for you to watch besides this, and we'll start repeating them next week. Like to bring up Michael Jordan's story, one of the greatest basketball players ever. I should, maybe a lot of people can't relate to. I was never a sports fan, but I like the story. So he missed so many game-winning shots in the beginning of his career. He caused his team to lose a lot of games, but once he got real good, he was one of the greatest people ever, and everybody forgot how bad he was. It's the same way with social groups. If you ease into a social group over a few months, you're just there to be a good dude. You're just there to meet friends, and what happens is you're practicing. Your social skills are getting better. And one of the things I'll worry about. Oh, my mind just blanked. Sorry about that. Um, Yeah, it's just a matter of practicing all these skills. And the more you struggle with social anxiety, you just got to be okay being around people at first while being anxious. And with that exposure therapy, the more you're around people, the more that social anxiety is going to lessen. And you do that by just going to these events over and over. Um, Sometimes it's enough to maybe go to your first event for 30 minutes, and then that's enough for you, and that's okay. And the next week you stay longer. But and a lot of times, at loud events, I don't like real loud events or events with like 150 people in them. That can be kind of tough too. Um, let's talk about some common, like if you're trying to practice this, you're trying to practice this strategy. And one thing, what will happen, so if you ease into a group, you become known as a trusted person. People are going to start coming to you to like want to hang out and to talk to you. And it's all safety. Safety is one of the most important things. A lot of people think they have to be this alpha, this tough guy. And, but really, you just want to be that safe person that everybody trusts. It's about building that like, know, and trust over a long time that we talked about the other week. And then once people trust you and they will start coming to you. You won't even have to pursue people. So it's a very interesting, it's very counterintuitive. Um, that's why not many people would do this because it takes such a long time. Most people want those quick wins, but we can't order people. You can't order a girlfriend like you order one on Amazon. It takes time to build up all those skills. And plus, one thing, if people want to jump into a relationship with you quick, that's a huge red flag. Especially if people jump from one person to another pretty quick. Um, you want to know who you get along with in a community, and you want to observe people to make sure that they're not going to have a negative effect in your life if you do let them close. But some things, let's troubleshooting this. You always want to cultivate that self-awareness using the mindfulness techniques I talked about. That's the first step to identifying like your patterns of how you think. I'm a big fan of the book Art of War. Know yourself, know your enemy. You're always victorious. That's a paraphrase. And knowing yourself is the most important thing. Um, you've got to really shift your mindset. I know I was in friend scarcity mode and relationship scarcity mode for most of my life because I thought it was a thing that I could not learn. But just practicing it over time, those small steps, they add up more than if you take those big steps. It's getting 1% better every week. And then in a year, you're like 50% better. You got to move from that scarcity to abundance thinking. That scarcity thinking, that's what will sink you. It makes you desperate. And desperation is the worst. So desperation is the worst thing you can do if you're an entrepreneur, because you go for investors and they will smell you a mile away and they won't invest. Or if you're a salesman, you're desperate. You don't have that detachment like I taught you. If you're desperate for the sale, people are less likely to buy. Well, it's the same in making friends and relationships. If you're in that scarcity mindset, like, oh, it's super hard to make friends and I'll never make friends and I need to cling to people really tight if they are my friend, that will scare people away. It's being easygoing and easing into it slowly. And I teach you some of those breathing techniques and exposure. And then every time you do something new, you've got to celebrate that win. Um, Here's some of the things that will sink people. So if you're not having good luck with the strategy, you've been going to a group for a few months regularly, you're not making any friends. Here's what got in the way for me. Um, I was hurt a ton in the past. I was severely bullied because of how I was. Uh, and that stays with you your whole life. I was rejected all my life and everything until like past until I started my meetup groups and started going to meetup groups. Um, I had to do the internal work, is which what I told you. I think did we do that? No, last week was boundaries. It was 2 weeks ago. Watch the class from a couple weeks ago on our YouTube channel. Tell you how to let all that anger and resentment go. All those. So yeah, if you're an angry person, people are going to want to stay away from you. You got to do the work to deal with your anger, even if you have to reach out for some professional help. That's going to make people not want to be your friend, not be attracted to you. Um, if you're like super anxious, and that's okay. But yeah, you don't want to be asking people out when you're super anxious, because it's not going to work. And the other things, if you're a real judgmental person, that's gonna put people off from you too. Um, you're constantly negative. You're constantly critical person. That's gonna turn people off too. Really, you just want to be you. You want to be that authentic person. I told someone, I really appreciate and like the other day, a friend, you're best when you're just that authentic, kind of semi-awkward person that's true to herself and is true to her beautiful self. And that is when we are truly best. And you manage that nervousness through a lot of the techniques I thought you taught you. And remember, you got to celebrate every step. We talked about the scarcity mindset. Yeah, moving too quickly before establishing trust in a group, especially if you're socially anxious, if you're nervous, if you don't have any experience at any of this people stuff, just go slow. Just be a member of the group. Just be a member of the group. And I used to try. A lot of people will teach you to be somebody you're not. They'll teach you to be this kind of arrogant person, and that doesn't really work. People don't really like people that they can trust. Um, and hey, thanks for coming, John. Appreciate it. And if you're fixed, I taught you about detachment and how they talk about it in Hinduism, where you can't be attached to the outcome. You do your best, but whether something succeeds or fails, you don't want to let that devastate you. Yeah, if you keep getting fixated, like I go to these events, I have to make a friend this time. Um, I have to ask someone out this time. You're not going to be successful because that fixation on outcome, when you're truly detached, when you've got a life where it doesn't matter whether you have a ton of people in it or not, and that's where finding your mission and purpose in life kind of helps, kind of sets you apart. Um, yeah, one of the suggestions I have, if you keep struggling, if you can't get over your past, you're struggling so much with the past, please reach out for therapy, even if you're a guy. Um, I've had good luck with internal family systems therapy, but there are other types of therapy that work. And you've got to let go of your past to invent a new future yourself. And what I'll tell you about, so if you're a woman, the timeline's a lot shorter. Um, you go into community, you'll probably attract guys quicker than a guy would. But if you're a guy, you need a few months to build trust. And like I said, once you build that trust in a community, people will come to you. Here's okay, ladies, this is for you. And us guys have been wanting you to know this for probably decades. So us men, especially someone like me, a technical person, maybe Asperger's on the autism spectrum, we are totally oblivious to all signals. Like I see so many videos by women who are just sick and tired that like men can't read their signals. But our brains are physically different from a woman's brain. My friend Dr. Diane used to see her every night. She was in my community. She always told me, man's brain is different from a woman's brain physically. And so we don't pick up on certain things. And plus, culturally in America, men aren't taught to pay attention to like emotional cues and things like that. So us men are totally oblivious. And in this modern area, if you don't want to be alone long term, you've got to be more assertive. And if you've been flirting with a guy for a long time, maybe weeks, or maybe heck, you've been flirting with him for a solid half hour or hour, just come. This will be terrifying to do, and this is terrifying advice. But here are 5 magic words that will get you just about any guy you want. Hey, I've been flirting with you. Oh, that was more than one hands. I got nervous there and put in more than one hands. But hey, I've been flirting with you. That's the magic phrase that will open a guy's brain. They'll say, "Oh, I guess she has been flirting with me." It's a compromise between directly asking a guy out, and it's a compromise that will allow you to tell him that you are interested in him, but still a little bit indirect. And the thing, women tend to be pretty indirect and expect us to kind of read minds. And, us guys, we cannot read minds. You got to tell us what you're thinking. And a buddy of mine told me, as an autistic person, you've got to tell people what you need and what you want in a relationship. Kind of like a little bit more casual than a job interview, but it's okay to tell people what you need and want. So here's a great 90-day plan I put together for you. I want you to join a couple groups based on your interests. We talked about Meetup, Eventbrite, local Facebook groups, churches, synagogues, mosques, all of the local religious institutions, classes, volunteering. Just go there just to make friends, just to learn to talk to people, ease into it. You're going to establish regular attendance, and then pick a couple groups. Like don't spread yourself too thin. That can be overwhelming. Pick a couple groups. Just become a regular. Make friends. You'll see if you're feeling really lonely now. Once you become a regular, that loneliness is going to drop. And it's all about being authentic, being who you are, not pretending to be someone that you're not. And deep connections, someone's not going to become your best friend the first time you meeting. That's pretty rare. Deep connections take a long time to develop. I remember way back 2014, I started going to meetups 2011, and I was a complete train wreck. I mean, I shook the whole time, didn't say a word to anybody. I played a game at the board game meetup for an hour and left because I couldn't take it. But every time it got easier, and then every time people got used to me, and then I got used to people, and then I made friends outside of the group, and that same change will happen for you. Go back to all the other friend men classes. Um, oh yeah, that's some great advice in chat. Just for a woman to say, "Hey, I like you," or "You're cute." Yeah, we do. Oh, yeah, in Michigan. So we do have groups of West Michigan and East Michigan. Feel free to comment on the video, and I can put links once we're done. Comment in the video, or get in touch with me, davidgood.org, and I can send you links to our Michigan groups, or go to internationalfriendconnection.com. Oh, we got a bunch of Michigan people here. Awesome. Yeah, go to internationalfriendconnection.com. You can get a link to all of our in-person groups there. I don't have Portugal. I don't have the New York City one on because I haven't had time to update those websites. But yeah, you can get the local groups. Check the schedule too for what events. I'm going to be, yeah, if you all are in Grand Rapids, come see me Wednesday at Schuler Books. And yeah, so davidgood.org. Feel free to get in touch with me. I do corporate training and speaking if you're looking for a speaker. And yeah, that's kind of the presentation for tonight. I want to go to a Q&A, and I know we got a bit of a time delay, so this will be about 30 seconds until it all hits you. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any groups in Florida or Texas yet. But once we're able to get funding, I may take a new job. I got offered a position I'm thinking about, and I may use that to get the funding to open up more groups because it takes a lot to manage and train volunteers. But then the more I work on my other stuff, the less time I can work on this stuff. But yeah, feel free to put your questions in chat about any of this. Just to summarize, Find groups, Meetup, Facebook, Eventbrite, all the other places I told you. Ease into it. Your guide, don't ask anyone out for like the first month you're there. You just want to be you just want to be a regular in the group and make friends. It's because before you're ready to date, if you're a guy, you've got to have that local friend group. I talk with Coach Steele and my friend, Coach Kelvin Troy Johnson, Atlanta Love Coach. Check him out too. He's got a YouTube and TikTok channel. But for women, it's all about trust and safety, and that takes time to build. So the quicker you try to, yeah, the quicker you try to like ask people out when you first go into a community, the more people are not going to trust you because they think you're only there for one thing. Yeah, so Wednesday night we'll be doing a virtual meetup. Go to internationalfriendconnection.com, find our main group, New York City, and we'll be doing a virtual meetup 8:30 p.m. But yeah, and we got Metal Mama in chat. Yeah, feel welcome to send me an email via my personal website, davidgood.org, which is right here. And I'll give you the links of all of our local groups. And I hope either Vicky or Becky can see on the east side of the state, or me or Michelle or Professor M or any of our great volunteers will see you on the west side of the state. But yeah, if you don't take away anything, probably the biggest aha moment, and if you guys in chat could give me some of your big aha moments, um, is the biggest thing that blew my mind was when I realized, um, if you take it easy, you just become a member of a community, become friends with as many people as you can, and just be a generally good guy. Um, you're going to make friends, and then when people talk about you, they're going to say good things about you because you're not there to hurt anybody. You're not there for any nefarious purpose. You're just there to kind of have a good time, and that's good for your mental health too, is having that friend group. And then you need that group of friends before you're ready to date, especially if you're a guy. You need that support if you get your heart broken. That's rough, man. That's pretty. You know what I think? I think every guy needs to get his heart broken real bad once and totally devastated once, so it'll make him a little hesitant going forward. Yeah. So yeah, Wednesday again, we got 8:30 p.m. That's our virtual, and we'll be at Schuler Books this Wednesday. And we usually get a good dozen people there. So Schuler Books, Grand Rapids, Wednesday, 6 p.m. And then 8:30 p.m. virtual. Yeah, feel welcome to get in touch with me. This was kind of a shorter class than the rest of them. But yeah, again, it's just being, it's just being a decent person, going into a group and making friends, and usually, a big thing. So one of the things I have to kick guys out of our groups for is inappropriate physical contact. For some reason, they haven't gotten the picture that you just can't like put your hand in a woman's hand or put your hand in her arm, and that's totally not cool to do. That creeps them out. Now, on the other hand, sometimes in flirting, women will put their hand in your arm if they're interested in you. So that may be a sign. So I don't really crack down on women for that. This just kind of see, there are different rules for men and women. And if you're a black and white thinker, if you like I used to be, you can't see gray like I can do now. That really upsets you that there are different rules for different people. But the thing is, you cannot change reality. You cannot change that there are different rules for other people. You either follow the rules or you're not successful. That's just how life is. And if you wait for the rules to change, you're going to get left behind. Yeah, if you wait for the rules to change, if you wait for the world to adjust to you, you will get left behind. And, that seems really unfair, especially for a lot of us who've been left out of society who are bullied. But I found it was easier for me to adjust myself than wait another 20, 30 years for the world to change. But not everybody has the capabilities I do. I'm fortunate to have been born with the high IQ, the systems level thinking, and the big pattern recognition ability. A lot of people in my place don't have that, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're any less worth to the world. You know, I believe everybody's important to the world. Everybody's important to the future of humanity. And just because you don't know your place in the future of humanity, you got to hold on. An example is, you know, I was in bed most days in 2016, horrible pain. Hear me talk about my story a lot. And I've had years of horrible depression where I've had to choose to go on or not. And I tell you, it was my mission in life, my mission of helping so many people run my local groups. Like, I got to stay around. I got to fight through this so I can complete that mission. That's the power of purpose. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about next week. So yeah, well, take a couple minutes. Any last messages in the chat there? Any last questions in chat? Um, and again, you're in Michigan, hit me up and I'll give you all the links to our local groups. Like, we would love to have you. We'd love to have you come, and you can make a ton of friends. Actually, you know, oh, I forgot to show y'all. Let me pull it up a minute. Maybe I can pull it up. But yeah, we had so many couples get married out of this was my group for nerds. My original group, West Michigan Geeks, was just a group for nerds. And we had so many couples get married out of that. That was unexpected. That, you know, Meetup did a special Valentine's thing for us. Let me see if I can. I want to share my screen again and put this over, because these are some really awesome people. I hope they don't mind that I'm showing their blog article. But yeah, let me go back to presentation mode. Here you go. Yeah, so Meetup talked about some of the couples. My buddies Matt and Stacy. That's their wedding picture. I'll tell you how they met. So they came to my Cinco de Mayo party in 2016. They sat at opposite ends of the table and they kind of locked eyes across the table. And then they kind of knew at that moment. So yeah, sometimes, you know, stuff does happen quick, and they had a couple kids now. And then, my buddies, yeah, that was at the top. My buddies, Amanda and Brandon, they met about the same time and got married. And then we've had a lot of other people get married and have kids. That was just from my group of nerds, and that was without even trying. So I mean, become a regular, establish that trust with people, and you never know what will happen. I'm not seeing any other questions in chat, so I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go now. Thanks so much for joining the stream. Again, let's get in touch. Come out to our events, start practicing. And next week, I'm going to teach you all those skills you need to deal with that anxiety, that nervous feelings, and then take a step towards the life that you deserve. I'm also going to teach you how to find that reason. I call it your why. You have to find your why, because you're in a lot of pain right now. You're in a lot of anxiety. You got to find something more than the pain that causes you to push through it, because the quickest way through a storm is straight through. And your life gets real small if you let your anxiety beat you. And we can't let that anxiety win. We can't let that fear win. So yeah, join us next week, and I'm going to teach you all those techniques and how to deal with that. And then also, I'm going to teach you how to find your mission and meaning and purpose in life. Hey, thanks a lot for the great compliments, and I will see you in a week. Or maybe I'll see some of you next Wednesday, or maybe some of our other organizers. We'll see even tomorrow or on the other side of the state. Oh, New York City tomorrow night. New York City tomorrow night. We've got a group called The Happy Spot. Look, The Happy Spot New York City meetup on Google. You'll pop up that group. Buddy Jack Thomas, he's got a venue not too far from Times Square off Broadway, paying for all the food. So if you're neurodivergent, feel free to show up. It's a networking night for neurodivergent professionals, but it'd be great. Even if you're not looking for a job or you're not a business owner, feel welcome to show up. Good community there. We're just getting that one started. But thanks so much for joining tonight, and I hope y'all have an awesome night.